Hey guys, Doc LaRiff here, and I want to talk to you real quick about some of the changes that are coming for patch 1.0.3. There is some new information released today, and I just want to go over it real quick. Some of it's pretty good, some of it you might not be so happy about, but here we go. Alright, one of the first things Blizzard talked about was the item gap, and the fact that right now you cannot get eye level 63 items in Act 1 of Inferno mode. And this is a problem for a lot of players because in order to progress past Act 1, they need to be able to have the gear that drops in Act 2, 3, and 4, and it's just, for some people, not fair. So what they're doing is they're going to go ahead and they're going to have a slight drop chance for eye level 63. They have a whole new tiered system approach. Hell mode, item level 61 and 62 gear can drop in Hell Act 3 and 4. In Inferno Act 1, item level 63 starts to begin to drop with a 2% drop rate, and then it starts to go up from there. So overall, for those of us who feel like we've been kind of pigeonholed into using the auction house, this opens up some new opportunities. If you're not having any problem doing Warden and Butcher runs, for example, well, now you get that 5-stack of Nephalem Valor, and guess what? You have a chance of getting a good piece of gear or a good weapon or something, an item level 63 weapon, that has that, 800, 900, 1K plus on a one-hander that you need in order to progress past this point. So, looking pretty good there. I think overall this is probably a good decision on the part of Blizzard. Alright, what they're changing with Nephalem Valor is they're making it so that instead of getting 2 guaranteed rares from boss fights, you're only getting 1 guaranteed rare. However, to balance that out, you're also getting a guaranteed rare from elite mobs once you have that full 5-stack of Nephalem Valor. So there's still a pretty good chance of getting 2 or more rares from a boss, but you're not guaranteed that second rare. So Warden and Butcher runs will probably still be a very good option for most people because of the difficulty of Act 1 and 2, but they're also changing the difficulty of all the acts in Inferno. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Alright, the next thing they did was they changed the difficulty for group play. Right now, they have an increased damage done by monsters when you group up. That's going to go away. So while the health increase of the monsters will be the same, the amount of the damage that they deal to individual players isn't going to be going up. So if you get in a group of 3, 4, 5, the health will go up respectively on, normal and elite mobs and bosses and things like that. But the damage that those monsters do to you will never adjust. It'll always be the same amount of damage. So it makes it more of an incentive to play in group play, but it doesn't affect solo. So if you want to play solo, you can still do that. Alright, Blizzard also stated that they were pretty happy with the difficulty on Inferno Act Run. They said that that was a good difficulty. But they did say that the transition from Act 1 to Act 2, for most players, was as if they were hitting a brick wall. So they're having a pretty huge issue progressing not just into Act 2, but through Act 2 and past Act 2. So they're kind of normalizing and keeping a more Act 1 feel to Acts 2, 3, and 4. You will have to make some adjustments, maybe go a little bit more defensive instead of having a straight offensive build. But it is a lot more doable now. That's what one of the things they're going to introduce, is that difficulty change in Act 2 and beyond in Inferno mode. Alright, here's one of the things I'm not super fond of. And the reason I'm not super fond of it is because of personal reasons, but we'll see how the community feels in general. They're upping the repair cost for level 60 gear roughly 4 to 6 times what it currently is. So that means when you have to go repair, it's going to cost you a lot more. And they say that the reason they did this was to kind of negate the fact that people are, graveyard rezzing and rushing bosses in that manner and zerging. So they want to take that out of the game, and the way that they're doing it is by increasing the repair costs. Now that being said, I play a Witch Doctor in Inferno, and it's pretty inevitable that I die. So what I'm trying to figure out is I wonder how these repair costs are going to affect gameplay for people who aren't doing that. When I come across the combination Mortar Invulnerable Minions, it's almost impossible for a Witch Doctor using a Dart build or even a Zombie Bears build to do anything about that. I mean, that's a game restarter in most cases for me. For me, and for I think most Witch Doctors and most builds that have that certain elite group of mobs, if you're soloing, you're going to have to drop your Nephalem stack just to get out of that game and come back and do it now, because the repair cost is going to be so prohibitive when you come across those mobs that it's almost not worth it with the Nephalem Valor buff. But we'll see how that plays out. That's just my personal take on it. They're also nerfing attack speed, which is good news and bad news. It'll make it less of an important stat to stack. However, they're fixing some of the things so it stacks correctly. But for a lot of people, we've spent a lot of money on getting attack speed gear. I've already dumped a pretty significant amount of gold into attack speed gear as a witch doctor because it was the most effective way to up my build. But hopefully everything balances out, and you know, with the new Nephalem buff and getting a guaranteed rare off elites and the chance of getting a tier, you know, the highest tier of gear, item level 63 gear in Inferno Act 1, you know, possibly it'll balance out. Maybe I can farm my own gear, but we'll see. All right, one of the last major changes they've talked about is gem crafting. If you're like me, you've gone and crafted a gem with about 600-700k in your pocket, and when you're done, you've lost sometimes 100-200k, and you don't even know what happened. So what they're doing is they're reducing the amount of gems required. They're taking it from 3 gems to 2 gems. Also, they're reducing the cost. So anything that's a flawless square or below has had its gem requirement and cost reduced. Anything that's above a flawless square is going to stay the same. So it's still going to be pretty expensive getting those top tier gems crafted if you're not getting drops. They've also stated that there's going to be some different changes to the quality of life within the game, the auction house improvements, a lot of bug fixes, and things of that nature, and that they're not really going to be focusing on class balance right now, which is good news if you're a demon hunter or wizard, and a bad news if you're everybody else. But that being said, overall the patch will hopefully be successful. Just remember the key changes. It's going to be a lot more expensive to repair your gear once you're in level 60 gear. Level 59 and below gear probably is going to be the same, but 60 and above is going to be pricey. It's going to be a lot less expensive to craft gems, and Inferno is going to be a lot easier, and it's going to have chances to drop higher tier gear at lower acts in Inferno. Last minute edit with headphones on. That's pretty much it for the patch 1.0.3. I just wanted to remind you guys that in a couple days we're giving away that free razer naga. It's right on our channel. Just head on over and leave a comment on the video for a chance to be entered to win it. And if you have any other thoughts or concerns about the patch, just leave a comment below. And that's pretty much it, man. Talk to you guys later.